Yeah. Oh, he's in heaven.
I know.
How'd you take these pictures up?
Here.
Sorry. Old ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very old.
Oh, these.
That's great. That's a great frame.
That's a cool frame.
Yeah, it is.
That is cool.
That is beautiful. It's always my
This
favorite
one almost
picture.
got destroyed in the flood.
That's from this that we liked, and then we put the rest just back in this one with a different background on it.
Oh, yeah?
So this is the overflow of those pictures.
Where'd you get them all?
They're in the basement. And then
they were.
this is the overflow.
Oh, okay. Let me see that one.
It's called Chapter 3.
That's one.
But yeah, there's still like all picture descriptions on the back of like who's in it and what year it is and stuff.
I think everybody has to have a picture of a tinsel tray. We have one of
Yeah.
every single one.
I really like this
That's
picture.
California,
Grandma and the nurse.
Sacramento.
Wow. Man. Good thing you got other ones. You got your white one. We gotta find your tennis ball too. I think it's over there somewhere.
What's it look like to you, huh?
Oh. Good. No, I'm reading.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys gotta be kidding me.
All right.
Yeah.
But so you do those after the two shots.
It's all spelled correctly.
Oh, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
That's okay. That's fine. Sure.
the first
I didn't do
two
many
or
of those.
three
I was
is
a little
like,
too
Now,
elite,
do I
but,
read
like,
this
yeah, they
as-
used to go pick that up.
oh, they like drink it like water.
I think Kate felt
And you're
bad. She didn't want to make it say 70, even though the cake says
Yeah.
70, so she just
You're
wanted to say
gonna have to why,
007.
If you
No,
look at
10 years.
it,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how I
you
did
look
it.
at it that
I'm
way,
almost,
it
I'm almost a
says
straight liquor
700.
girl. But
It
and I
does.
don't drink
Yeah,
anymore.
it
Like, don't-
does.
Like, I'm not this.
No, it
He's right
doesn't.
about that, Kate. How else are trying to make this man feel?
around. It
Tequila
looks
shots
like
for
something.
It's a 007.
every night. Because you're always like down
super
in tequila
sneaky.
before you went out.
Special.
Back of our shots.
Oh,
Straight
that's
up.
so standard.
Like,
Well, the most exciting day of my life was the day I got out of the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
How about that?
There you go.
And why was it exciting?
This guy just waddled into the
Because I didn't like the Marine Corps.
Oh.
in Texas.
And they extended me. It's been almost 5 years.
You just wander in the kitchen.
It's been almost 5 years, and they extended me.
Oh wow.
So
They did.
And who's the guy who threw you a bone and got you out of Vietnam?
the fact that I only had 5 months and days left to do.
But your whole what's the correct terminology? Platoon or like what's the Marine terminology for your group of
Oh,
guys?
the group of guys I went. Yeah, that was my.
But what do they call that?
That was my platoon.
Platoon.
80.
And so he held you back even though the rest of your platoon went.
No, there were 6 other guys. There were 6 other guys, myself. They came in with the planes on the tarmac, and they
Oh, wow.
gave us cardboard boxes, clothes to put all our civilian clothes, everything civilian in there, only keep your issue, no dress uniforms or anything. And they didn't say where we were going, but we knew. And they getting ready to go on a plane. That's how close. And then they said, you.
Wow, really?
7 of us. And I was one of the U's. So, first thing you're thinking is, what did I do? Because when they call out your name like that, you figure you did something. You know, and it wasn't good. So they put us aside, and the rest of the outfit got on.
Wow. So you didn't even know you were getting taken away. You didn't even know that was going to happen until right at the moment. Then it wasn't like they prepped you on it and said, "Hey, next week the planes are going to come in. You're going to stay."
It was that quick.
Wow.
So
It's amazing.
they said you're going to special services. So I went to, one guy went to the automobile shop. One guy went to the ceramic shop. I went to the bowling alley. One guy went to run the movie theater. So
And then you went off and had productive
became a
sperm
pin-
that
yeah, I became
gave
a
birth
pin
to 6
mechanic.
different kids.
Yeah, and what happened was that I was still a pin mechanic. They extended it then indefinitely. And we didn't know when we were getting out because it was critical MOSs, which meant that they had to train, they had to draft, they were starting to draft people into the Marine Corps. So they had to train people to take my job. They didn't have anybody. But meanwhile, this is the service. I'm working in the bowling alley. but they extend me indefinitely. So my outfit came back, and everybody made it except one guy. And what happened, the story that I got, was they landed on the beach, and the Seabees are the first ones in.
Where on the beach? Where?
Over in Nam, as you know. And they, I don't know where exactly. And the Seabees go in and clear the beach. They take the mines out, they build roads and things like this. Well, anyway, my outfit camped out on the beach when they landed. And the master sergeant was a little guy with a big handlebar mustache. And he gave the Seabees a hard time. And as the story goes, they were sleeping on the beach and the Seabees ran them over and killed them.
Oh wow.
That was the only casualty.
The only one, huh?
Yeah, but he was that type of guy. He could make you do something. So meanwhile, I come back, and some guys are getting out, and I'm still in the bowling alley. I'm going, when's this gonna end? So 4 years and 7 months. 7 months later, I finally got out. So.
And you're at the bowling alley like during the 7 months?
Yeah, yeah. And then the day I'm due to get discharged, it's supposed to be 8 o'clock. So I'm ready, I'm in on the bunk, and my captain is out on the parade field. There's a parade. And you're sitting there, it's 9 o'clock, and you go, oh crap, what's going to happen now? You know, something's going to happen. You know, I'm supposed to get out at 8 o'clock, it's now 9 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, he got off the parade field, and I went in, and I remember him saying, or Sergeant, he says, Sergeant, would you like to ship over? That means take another enlistment. No, sir. Well, we got a little bonus they gave you, you know, a couple $1,000 back in '66. That was good money.
Yeah.
No, sir. You sure? Yes, sir, because I had my car packed, pointed east, full of gas, and ready to go.
And where were you stationed?
29 Palms, California, out in the Mojave Desert.
Uh,
So I left, and then I went into Phoenix, and I said goodbye to my friends, and then I headed back east,
sorry.
and I stopped in,
That was Dad.
I had a cousin in St. Louis.
You and Mary would have gone well last night.
I stopped at my grandmother's out in Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania. Then I came home, and I got a job at the phone company.
That's a good question there. Holy cow. That's a long answer.
I like the answer better than the question.
Right here. What's your favorite thing about the shore?
The favorite thing about the shore,
Like you like going back there? Do you like what's your favorite thing about it?
watching the sun come up
Nice.
in the morning, and I remember I used to wake guys up and
Dad and I went so many weekends and watched the sunrise.
and we sit there under the blanket. And
Yeah.
then,
The black blanket.
Orange.
The itchy one.
and, yeah, that's right, the army blanket.
The smelly one.
And then the sun would come up, and I forget who said it, but I think it was one of the YouTube guys. And he said, how can that hot sun come out of that ocean like that? And when you look in the
Don't
east,
worry about it.
yeah, how can the hot sun? I didn't have an answer for that.
All right.
You know. But anyway, that I thought was nice. And then going for a swim at night when I got home from work. I like that too.
Love or during the music. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the music and the pizza and the fireworks. What's your when you think about each one of us individually, what's like the first thing you think about, or what's like your favorite thing about us
Well, you're all,
individually?
well, you're all different.
Huh?
You're all different. That's what I like about it. Nobody's the same. You know,
That is kind of true.
Mary's a pulka.
Colleen's a giggy.
Gabe's a derpy, right?
As
he draws on himself with marker.
Colleen used to come out with some beautiful statements like paint polish, finger polish, and Hersey for horsey. And then the best one was when everybody was screwing up, and we got you around a dining room table, and we said, okay, let's find out what's going on. We'll start with the oldest. You know, one was Lee goes in my room, you know, all important stuff. But everybody knows. So we got down to Colleen. she's the youngest. I don't know if she was 3 years old. And your mother said, "Go ahead. You know, this is democratic. Tell us what you want." So Colleen gave us some thought because all you guys are Colleen says, "Well," I said, "mostly I like it here, but I don't like to eat those vegetables."
Mostly I like it here.
Mostly.
How about the hair combing in the morning?
Oh,
when I used to yell murder.
yeah, murderer. Yeah, every morning her hair was such a mess.
For the tangles in the hair. Or
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like for the
That's
And
awesome.
she'd go, "Oh no!" And then you hear it a minute later, "Murderer!"
What was? Guess what would you say was the greatest thing about growing up in Brooklyn when you grew up in the late 40s, early 50s?
Well,
Very
it
good turn, those
was
questions.
Well, that's a hell of a time to grow up in Brooklyn. Let me tell you. I mean, that's pretty much the heyday.
safe. Mothers were home. And we had the Brooklyn Dodgers.
I remember Dad taking me to a Subway Series game, and between the Yankees and the Mets, and I said to him, "Which team are we rooting for, Dad?" And he goes, "I hate them both. I like the Brooklyn Dodgers."
Well, that's the funniest thing is I had such an identity complex, and I still get made fun of because I like the Mets and the Yankees, which is like a faux pas. And it's only because I just like baseball, and he didn't care for it. He was just like, Matt likes baseball. I got tickets. Let's go. And so
I never liked the Yankees. I never liked the American League. It wasn't the Yankees, it was just the American League.
I'm still with you on that one.
You know,
American
I
League sucks.
I like Ricky Mantle. I like Yogi Berra. I
Willie
like Casey
Mays.
Stengel. Willie Mays was on the Giants,
Yes, he was.
New York Giants. And he was my favorite. I used to catch and play center field. So they used to call me Willie. That was a nickname, Willie. After Willie Mays. But it was great because they used to
They'll just run if you
take
don't calls.
2 LC pop sticks
Dave, that's enough.
and 60 cents and put them in the mail. You could put money in the mail then, and then you'd have to leave your seat with 60 cents. And then I was 10 years old, and you could take the trolley car to Evans Field. You were allowed to go. It was day game. There were hardly any night games. I don't even know if there were night games. But it was safe.
Do you have any memories of Vin Scully calling games?
Yep.
You know, he still calls games.
No?
He still calls them. Isn't that amazing?
What team?
Dodgers.
Oh, yeah.
He still.
I didn't know
He
that.
just had one of the greatest calls he's ever had last week. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome. And I still think of you every time I hear him because he was broadcasting when you were a kid. It's amazing. He's 86 years old, still doing it.
I remember Mel Allen. He used to do the Yankees. And he always...
He's such a sissy.
What street did you grow up on in Brooklyn? Hey.
9th Street.
Okay, man.
It reminds me of a little dentist and
Nice.
everything your dog.
Yeah.
Between there and the SNC.
Oh, he gets in trouble all the time.
And
He squeals like a little girl.
in fact,
You're like the
in the
smallest
picture
little
there
dog.
was a picture of Wild Beverly by the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, you took us there.
Well, we went there
Yeah,
a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was 9th
Just
Street.
flew shut and like touched
And
the
Coney Island was
like let out like this yelp. I was like, "You're such a baby."
He's such a sissy.
you got a ticket to the steeplechase, you packed a bologna sandwich, your mother gave you a bologna sandwich and $1.25 maybe. A dollar to get
The
in.
first day I got here, I told him.
Hey, I can tell you that Cyclone was seriously one of the greatest wooden roller coasters I've ever been on.
Shot him.
Did it get damaged in the hurricane?
Did it?
No? That's it. That's all I got.
No, I don't know what didn't get damaged in Coney Island because that got
He
hit
like held
bad.
his paws and
But
like
I don't
we
think they
hugged
do
him and he's
that.
like,
I don't think it was like that one down in Seaside. You know, it's sitting in the water that they took out
no,
finally.
just to get you to
That the
stop
mayor
messing with him.
Had it,
Sometimes
such a
they'll
brilliant idea. Let's
I
keep
know.
it there as a
Sometimes
tourist
they'll
attraction.
yelp.
Let's leave it in the
Like,
water.
you're like,
You know,
Oh, really?
Is that
Yeah.
smart?
it's not, only a navigational hazard. People didn't want to come down and get reminded of the bad storm. You know, and then I drove down to Mantelope.
To let a dog alone like this in a yard, a straight
I don't know,
yard.
last time we were down
Yeah,
there.
most dogs run right away.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
to see,
most people,
because
like,
they were starting, they had
people
just
with
started
dogs,
to
like,
tear down.
you know, they open the door and the
340
thing runs
homes in
out,
Mantelope
forget it,
that
it's
got even
gone.
damaged.
Yeah, I had a dog once like that.
And we went down to
Yeah. I had the leash on him all the time.
Yeah.
to
That's
walk,
what I really
I guess,
didn't want. Like, I
curiosity.
didn't want like that type of
And
dog
we went
that
on
you have on the leash.
West
where
Point
it's like,
Island.
You know,
And I used to go there way back in the 70s.
Forget it, you never find them.
I know friends who got a house. But yeah, Maniloc was pretty bad.
Anybody else got another question? Anybody?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rita.
Well, I was going to ask what was the worst natural disaster you ever seen in your lifetime, in your opinion?
What personally seen?
Other than when you
No,
fell
like-
out of the tree and hurt both your knees.
Trade Center.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Disaster.
was there that day.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the Titanic?
I
Was that-
wasn't there.
I know, Dad, I'm joking. It was a joke.
Yeah.
Dad, didn't you go up in the trade towers the day before they were hit? You hadn't been there in
No,
years, and then
no,
you like, went
we
up?
still had trading desk upstairs. We used to have meetings up there, but I can't remember how many days before. But I was on the floor. I was working on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And saw it on TV, saw the plane game on TV, and, you know, I thought it was a commuter plane.
Mm-hmm.
So I went up to Broadway, Cedar Street, and was watching it, smoke coming out, and then the second plane hit. And we got hit with the crap. Well, the second for people in the street. So then panic ensued. People ran through 120 Broadway, you couldn't run
Maybe
through.
like 2 days.
It's in
in the middle of
down to
oh, it's,
Broad Street. And yeah, so
yeah, I'll try to.
yeah, that was the worst.
Would you mind just describing when you came out of the stock exchange, like the whole? I remember you saying it was the streets.
Well, yeah, when I
Like the-
when I walked up, it was at 8:45. We didn't open at 9:30. We adjusted positions, and I walked out. It was like when you have a ticket tape parade, except the stuff floating in the air were all legal-sized paper documents, envelopes, just floating in the air, and that was like weird. And then I didn't leave. I got the last boat to Staten Island that evening. But when I walked out,
After the buildings fell?
yeah, because when the first one came down, we thought we got hit because the whole lower Manhattan shook, and it's on bedrock. And we've been a target, and we, you know, then we see the Pentagon get hit, and so I don't know. I walked out of there about 6 o'clock, but they said you can stay. We'll give you food. We'll give you blankets. But if you're gonna leave, go over to the east side. Don't go to the west side. Go over. And they were taking them off the island. Anything they can commandeer. The Coast Guard told the Circle Line, which goes around Manhattan, just take the limiters off as far as the amount of people. Just take as many people as you think you can handle and get them off the island. And it was private boats. Everybody was getting off or walking across the Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh, that's what you said. Yeah.
Didn't you? Wow.
No, there was nobody. There was nobody. My uncle had died. There was nobody in Brooklyn. There was no, if I went to Brooklyn, there was no place for me to go.
Yeah.
Because they closed everything off, all the tunnels and bridges. But the ferry boat saw it. I walked down to the ferry. But when I came out of the exchange, it was eerie. Because there was about 6 inches of powder on the ground. You walked in a puff, puff, puff. And you could hear the commotion over by the Trade Center. It's only 3 blocks from the exchange. And you could hear the sirens and all that, but it was very eerie in the sense it was quiet.
Yeah.
On the way to the ferry. There were about 100 people there, and they said, the boat is coming. We were down there about 2 hours waiting for it. They said, the ferry is coming. Get on. And when you get to the other side, just they're not going to collect any money, any fares. Just go to where your bus is and get on it. You know, don't delay or anything. But I remember I used to take that and be on. The ferry boat doesn't have a fan tail. The fan tail is the rear of the boat. So I used to stand in the back, and as we pulled away, especially at night, and look at the skyline in Manhattan, and then you pass, and you'd see the Trade Center. And that day we left, there's still lights in out, and all you saw was a cloud of smoke. where the Trade Center was. That was weird. Yeah. Yeah. And I remember the Trade Center going up. Because I was living in Florida, and we had a recession back in '69 and '70, and my firm closed down in Florida. So I came back, and I got a job in an over-the-counter house trading over-the-counter. And it was a small house. It was Herbert Young and Company, and they were at 160 Broadway, which is directly across the street from the Trade Center, and they were building the Trade Center.
Oh wow, no way.
They were building it. They were putting it up, and there were Vietnam protesters coming down Broadway, and the hard hats would sit there and throw stones at them and stuff. Yeah, and then these people would march down. I remember he used to come out of my building and be right in front of me, but I saw the Trade Center go up and I saw it come down.
Wow.
Wow.
And then another greatest disaster was when Jody Ice Cream Man died. we liked his ice cream better than Good Humor. And he was a little less expensive. Yeah, and Jody Ice Cream Man used to give out baseball cards and cards with scantily clad women.
Always a favorite of Dad.
That's why we bought ice cream from the Good Humor Man. Wouldn't do that. Yeah.
What year did you
Jody,
die?
I don't know. It was sad though. Nobody knew where Joe came from. He had a little ice cream truck.
Anybody else want to ask a question before?
What was the name of your best friend growing up?
Frankie Cole Maria.
What was it?
Frankie Cole Maria.
Cole Maria. He was Italian, I bet.
Yep.
You're good, Kate. You ever tried to find him?
Yeah. When after I got out of the service, he came down to the Heights. I lived on Ocean Road with 713 Ocean Road.
Yep.
And
Still there.
yeah, and he came with his wife to visit. That was the last I saw of him, and that was back 60s.
Well, you know, now you got a computer. You could join the Facebook world, and who knows, Frank might be on there.
Could be on there.
He could be.
I literally-
My mom is totally met up with like old friends of hers that she hasn't seen in 20 years.
Yeah, well, you know,
I find a lot of people do that.
I got a call from another guy.
Sit down, Gabe.
There's another Patrick Cadden.
Kate was
And he looked me up on the internet, and I hadn't seen him anyway. He was a mechanic. He lived in Long Island, and somehow he hurt his back, so he couldn't work. So in 10 minutes into the conversation, I could see where it was going. Oh, I'm on compensation. Oh, my back hurts. And, like an old lady. And at that point, I didn't have any desire to say, hey, let's get together. The guy was just whining on the phone. So I cut it pretty short. Man. So
Just recount a memory from Ebbets Field. Just give me like something you remember from going there, like a moment or seeing
Happy
some.
Felton's not whole game.
Say it again.
Happy Felton, not whole game.
From where?
Ebbets Field, the Dodgers, where the Dodgers
The
played.
old thing about the not whole was that in the old stadiums, the fences were made out of wood, and they had knots in them, and you could supposedly punch one of the knots out and watch the game through the knot hole. So this guy, Happy Felton, used to have usually 2 kids from local Little League teams, and Little League wasn't like it was today, like it is today. And down the first base side, and they'd have one of the Dodgers come down. It was a pregame show, and if the kid was a pitcher, he would pitch to they'd have a catcher come in, Roy Campanella, and if he was a fielder, he would have him maybe bat. And that would be like a 20-minute show before, and you could just sit in the stands and watch it, and they would televise it. And that was fun. And then They had a band that used to be on the third base side.
Symphony?
Yeah.
Like night fishing?
Yeah. Oakland Symphony Band.
Do you remember seeing Jackie Robinson play?
Yep. Yeah. Huey Reese, the whole Carl Ferrillo, Huey Reese, Gil Rogers, Campanella. I remember the year that Larson pitched a perfect game in the series. I was at my coach's house, my Little League coach's house, and he had a bunch of us guys over to watch the game.
On the radio or on TV?
TV, little black and white. But I remember that game, he pitched it perfect.
Was it 56?
I think it was.
Because the Dodgers won in 55, right? I think they won in 55, the World Series in 55.
Well, they moved down the West Coast in
57.
So the pennant, the pennant was flying. The world champion pennant was flying, and then at the end of the season in 56, so they won in 55. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. And Walter O'Malley didn't move them out there out of spite. He tried to work with Robert Moses.
Yep, totally right.
And he wouldn't let it. It was always something to park the location.
Yeah.
And finally he took enough of me to say, he went out and got
Gabe.
What's the one place in the country you haven't seen that you wanted to see that you regret not seeing yet?
Oh, I don't have enough battery left.
Maine?
Oh,
You could pull that off.
It's so close. Yeah, totally.
Okay.
I know I could.
Ooh, I like
haven't
your
been.
sauce, too.
Never
Maybe
been.
that's why you haven't been.
I like
Because
your
it's so
Spider-Man
easy.
sauce, too.
Yeah, you take it for granted.
What's in Maine?
Spider-Man everything, huh?
Pretty nice.
Just they want to see the coast. Can't swim up there. I just can't. I like to go up and get a
I got you.
lobster.
Okay.
Drive along the coast.
What was the coolest part of the United States you ever saw? Like, what sticks out in your head when I say that? Like, what's one thing that comes to mind? Like, wow, this is pretty amazing.
Well, west,
You're covered in paint, bud.
Northern California.
You should stay outside.
Gabriel, come
Stay
here.
Northern?
Northern.
Yeah.
I didn't like Southern.
Yeah, now why
Stay
not?
outside.
Come here.
This LA was appealing.
Yeah.
Do you want to go?
Did you ever do the Pacific Coast Highway?
El Camino Real. Yeah, went up
Go inside. We have to
went up to Sacramento quite a few times up there.
shower.
I remember one night going up
I
with
want to touch your face. Think about it.
a Ford convertible,
Yeah, just here.
and
I won't touch your face.
we left San Diego. It was like a good 12-hour ride, and the top it was a foggy, misty night,
Away from you.
and we couldn't get the top to go up. So here we are driving in this fog, freezing, going up Highway 1, El Camino Real, and I mean, look like a couple of dopes. We had the top down, but we couldn't get it up. And,
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and it was foggy, and unbelievable. People passing you on two-lane road in the fog.
Trying to wipe them down.
You know, it just, that's California's mentality. Yeah, but Northern California, I like. It's a whole different ballgame.
Gordon.
You know, farms, vineyards, mountains.
It's okay. I got lots of footage. It's okay.
Best record you ever purchased?
Your desert island disc. If you could only have one record for the rest of your life, what would it be? That's a good one.
Well,
You got tons of them.
how about an artist? I mean, I like.
All right, who's your favorite artist? Who
Growing up with Fat Star.
would he be? Your desert island? You could only have listen to one artist for the rest of your life. Would it be him?
Who would it be?
Fats Domino.
Fats Domino.
Yeah.
Yeah, I buy vinyl, and I play it at, the 33, and then I play it at 45, and I play it at 78, and then I play it backwards. And so I'd have a lot of entertainment.
Good question. I like that one.
Dad, what was the name of your first girlfriend?
Well, it's a toss-up between Marie Cirillo
Another Italian.
and Orlando, what the heck was her first name? Lorraine Orlando. Yeah,
Interesting.
they're my first loves. Yeah.
Best concert.
Ooh.
Well, the Rolling Stones and Fleetwood Mac, I would say.
What thing are you the proudest of that you ever built? Like by hand? Like an addition on a house or a piece of like
Probably
a
Kim's dollhouse.
Dollhouse, yeah.
that would be the number one, huh?
Yep. It's been 2 years on that.
Oh wow. I think I remember that.
It was if you were this big, you would want to live in that house. It was amazing. Like it had electricity, everything.
I just found a box not too long ago of like replacement chandeliers. It was like an old like cigar box. Like had like these little bulbs in it.
Yeah, yeah. And you had little sockets you'd actually plug.
Yeah, everything, the stuff worked.
And it had a wire to it. And
I remember there was like light switches too or something.
well, actually, well, light switches, but I built the kitchen sink out of those little plastic jellies you get.
Yeah, at McDonald's,
Kitchen sink out of
a little.
that.
Yeah.
I always told Lee that one of my favorite memories coming out here every other summer was the train set we always used to play in
Yeah.
the basement.
That was awesome
At the
too.
old house too.
Yeah. That was the one he made for me. Like when I was a kid. Yeah. It had the tunnel. It had a tunnel.
I remember looking at it and Lee's telling me like, "Hey, this is the table that it used to be on," and I'm like, "What? I thought that table was like 8 feet tall."
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's when we played with it.
Yeah. That's always the
I
way.
took pictures of that dollhouse up close, and I brought them in to show the guys at work, and tell them that I moved into a nice apartment.
Seriously, you totally could have fooled him with that. Yeah, it had the books. It had the bookshelves and the books in it.
I built both fireplaces. I got the stones from McDonald's and out in the yard.
How funny is that?
By the bushes, and I built one using grout. I built one fireplace out of that, and they said, "How could you afford building a place like that?" They thought it was real.
Really?
What happened? I missed that.
Yeah. Huh?
He took pictures of the dollhouse, like up close pictures, and went into work and told all his friends that, hey, look at this new apartment or this new house that I have. Here's the living room. Here's the dining room. And they believed him. Isn't that great?
It's like one.
What are you listening to?
I have Christmas music, maybe Nike rival, Nike. Years in Mexico, years. I got a medal for 3 years of undetected crime.
Tell us a quick version of what happened.
There's too many things to talk about.
So you were in line, you got a medal that said what?
Good conduct.
And then the guy whispered in your ear and said,
"This is for 3 years of undetected crime."
yeah, that's what I thought. What do you have to say about that?
Patted me on the back and said, "Keep up the good work." What a comb over is, right?
Yeah, I know what a comb over is.
You got a comb over wig. He said they gave you one of the worst routes in the district of Asbury Park, and just watch your step. Like they were out to get you. In other words, I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know what they didn't like about me, but I mean,
Maybe they don't like your name.
No, I'm such a bubbly personality. so I delivered in Ocean Township. Once in a while, I would get done. They would give you what they call a pivot, where you had to take somebody else's route who didn't show up, and then go out and do their route. Well, I used to get Asbury Park itself as part of the pivot, and they have these cluster boxes. You know what they are?
Yeah.
You live in an apartment building.
Yeah.
These boxes are down on the street.
Yeah.
So they didn't have any doors on the holes.
Just shipping things anywhere.
And no name. I didn't know. That's what I did. I literally just.
That's what I would have done.
I printed all the mail out with the address and just filled up the hole. And then they used to, people used to say, "Hey man, you got my check?" They wait for their.
Oh, because that was, yeah.
And hey man, come on, you let me have a check. I said, no. I said, I will put the whatever in the mailbox. You get it from the mailbox. You're not going to get it from me. Come on, man. I said, no, you know. So, yeah, but there were parts of back then of what I'm getting at is Asbury Park. There were houses there that were beautiful.
Oh, I'm sure.
And like you said, the gay people had the money.
Really?
Yeah, they would.
No kids.
Gay couples.
I know.
Come
Most
in,
gay people are.
Yeah, I know.
Be professional.
Even now.
And they buy these houses, and they were these big old houses.
Wow.
So I would deliver there. But at least they had addresses on the houses. That was an experience. So, yeah, I came in back to the office one day because, I mean, that was bitch.
So where did you work after that?
You drove a limo or something?
I went out to Utah.
You went out to Utah.
Yeah.
Really?
Became a Mormon. He has magic underwear on right now. You didn't know that?
Well,
When he became a Mormon, and you put on the magic underwear that they all talk about. Yeah.
I never heard of that.
I didn't
Oh,
either.
Oh, yeah, they wear special underwear.
They do.
Yeah, I know.
Sharon knows. Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah, it's like an undergarment. It's like a white undergarment.
You showed you his underwear?
No, oh,
Say if you give me a pair of those magic underwear, we'll talk.
yeah. Well, let me see your underwear.
When I was out in Salt Lake City,
I couldn't see me being
go
long.
Downtown, everything goes out downtown. The main church is down there. The tabernacle.
Nope. I made a mess.
It's fine.
And they're down there and
It's like a big mess.
they work in pairs, girls and guys. But I found that they wouldn't directly approach you unless you wanted to ask them a question. They didn't come up and try to sell. That was the thing I found very amazing, that it wasn't a pushy thing. If you didn't want to talk to them, they would move on. But they would be all dressed up and walk around downtown. And, you know, you're down there as a tourist, I guess. I lived there, but you were still a tourist. So I wanted to see. So I wanted to go see the Tabernacle Choir one time. Well, at the time, they were earthquake-proofing buildings in Salt Lake City. Apparently, Salt Lake is near a fault line.
Oh.
So they shut down buildings, post offices, government buildings, the church, the tabernacle, and they were earthquake proofing. So the tabernacle where they sang was closed, and so you had to go to like a school auditorium to hear them, and it wasn't the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
So it reminded me of the time when your mother and I went up to Niagara Falls, and they had it shut off.
Their honeymoon was the only time Niagara Falls has ever been shut down. And
there's no falls; they shut it down. What is this? You know, how do you shut off falls? So anyway, so here I am in Utah. I want to hear the Tabernacle Choir, and I can't. So, but
one of the few good things about the Mormons.
Two sides: people that liked the Mormons, that were Mormons, and the ones that didn't trust them. And they actually almost hated him. They didn't want anything to do with him, you know. And I found that out with the people I went out to see that I stayed with. You know, they would. I went out for a tour of a farm, a Mormon farm. They're like the Amish. They have their own culture, and I told them about it, and they said, "Oh, you can't trust the Mormons." You know, excuse me, they were very much anti-Mormon, but there was a guy across the street, lived on the same block. He had a bookstore downtown, and he used to carry. He used to strap in a western. He used to strap a holster with a gun in it, and that was protection in the bookstore. So he used to tell me. He said, "Yeah." He said, "You'd be surprised the customers I get in there." And he said, and what they buy. He said, some of the elders in the church, all the elders, the senior people in the church, and he said they come in, and there's a room in the back where they had all the photographs.
Oh, yeah.
And they used to go to the back and read the stuff back there. And then he said, "Yeah." He said, I did better business with them in that section than anybody else.
It's like many churches.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
you press it your whole life. And
You find out a lot, you know, things you don't know unless you're there. But
was that Cliff and Dina that you stayed with?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm friends with them on Facebook. I'm friends with them on Facebook. Like I keep in touch with them because I was really young. I barely remember them. Like when I was,
How long were you in Utah for?
About a year. I didn't stay. I didn't like it.
No.
No. Oh, that was.
Yeah, I would never. I could never stay in Utah. Are you kidding me? Sounds awful.
I wanted a job. I wanted to do something. I was out there, so I went and applied different places, and I got a job in a factory. And I report to this factory, and they made these plastic containers, like when you buy sandwiches to go. It's a kind of
Like the clamshell?
yeah.
Yeah.
They
Like a
fold,
to-go
they
container,
fold
yeah.
up and they lock,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this place made these things, and my job was I had to look at the stacks. They come out maybe stacks of 100, and I had to look at them and look for any irregularities. And if they did, I'd pull out the irregularity. You could tell everything was even until you got to one that wasn't. You pull it out. So I'm in there, and it's noisy, and they give you earplugs when you come to work, so you're not bothered by the noise. But there's guys with these forklifts. Every time they back up, beep, 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 beep. Anyway, we get a lunch. So I sat down and I said, "What am I, nuts?" I was making $6 an hour.
Back in 2000, what, 4?
Yeah, 2000, yeah, something like that. I said, "Well, what am I, crazy?" So I went and told my foreman, I said, "I'm not coming back tomorrow." And he was like, "Why? You're doing such a good job." But I learned that, some jobs are very lucky, have to do all your life. I couldn't imagine
Doing that
as not a career, but I mean something that. But
Wow.
some people can do that.
Oh.
Some people can take tolls.
Some people
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. But I said, I learned, like there's jobs out there that well. So that was my experience.
That's funny.
Yeah.